The doctor looked me straight in the eye and said the words that still send chills down my spine. "Your legs are failing you faster than we expected." At 63 years old, I was facing a reality I never imagined. Simple tasks like climbing stairs had become mountain climbs, and walking to the mailbox felt like running a marathon. But what happened next changed everything, and the solution was so ridiculously simple that I almost dismissed it completely. My name is Sarah, and this is the story of how 5 basic movements not only saved my legs, but gave me back my life. If you're over 60 and struggling with leg strength, mobility issues, or that nagging fear that your best days are behind you, stay with me. What I'm about to share could be the difference between spending your golden years in a wheelchair and dancing at your grandchildren's weddings. 3 years ago, I was what you might call a typical retiree. I had worked in an office for 37 years, spent countless hours hunched over a computer, and thought that retirement meant finally getting to relax. What I didn't realize was that my sedentary lifestyle had been silently stealing my strength, one muscle fiber at a time. The human body is incredibly honest. It gives you exactly what you train it for, and I had unknowingly trained mine for weakness. The wake-up call came during a family vacation to the Grand Canyon. While my younger relatives bounded down the trails with ease, I found myself gripping the railings, legs trembling with each step. My daughter noticed my struggle and gently suggested we take the elevator instead of the stairs back to our hotel room. That night, as I sat on the edge of my bed massaging my aching legs, I realized something had to change. The statistics are sobering, and I wish someone had shared them with me earlier. After age 30, we lose 3 to 8% of our muscle mass each decade. But after 60, this process accelerates dramatically. By age 70, many people have lost 20 to 40% of their muscle mass. This isn't just about looking weak or feeling tired. This muscle loss, called sarcopenia, is directly linked to falls, fractures, loss of independence, and even early mortality. But here's what most doctors don't tell you, and what I discovered through my own desperate research. This process isn't inevitable. Your legs don't have to fail you just because you've reached a certain age. The human body possesses a remarkable ability to rebuild and strengthen itself, even well into our 70s, 80s, and beyond. You just need to know which buttons to push. My journey began with a chance encounter at my local library. I was researching mobility aids, preparing myself for what seemed like an inevitable decline, when I overheard 2 women talking. One was telling the other about her remarkable transformation after working with a physical therapist who specialized in geriatric strength training. She mentioned something about simple movements that had completely changed her life. I couldn't help but introduce myself and ask for more details. That conversation led me to Dr. Martinez, a physical therapist who had spent over 20 years helping older adults reclaim their mobility. During our first meeting, she asked me to perform a simple test. "Stand up from this chair without using your hands," she said. I struggled, eventually needing to push off the armrests to get to my feet. Then she had me walk across the room and back. My gait was shuffled and uncertain. Finally, she asked me to balance on one foot. I barely managed 3 seconds. Dr. Martinez explained that these 3 simple actions, sitting to standing, walking, and single-leg balance, form the foundation of independent living. Every activity of daily living relies on these basic movement patterns. If you can't perform them well, everything becomes difficult and dangerous. But the beautiful truth is that these patterns can be improved at any age with the right approach. She introduced me to what she called the Big Five, 5 fundamental movements that address the most critical aspects of lower body function. These weren't fancy exercises requiring expensive equipment or gym memberships. They were movements so basic that I initially felt skeptical about their effectiveness. But Dr. Martinez assured me that simplicity was the key to sustainability, and sustainability was the key to results. Movement number 1 is the supported squat. Now, before you panic and imagine yourself dropping down into a deep gym class squat, let me explain. This isn't about impressing anyone or proving your athletic prowess. It's about teaching your legs to work as a coordinated team again. You start by sitting in a sturdy chair with armrests. The goal is simply to stand up and sit down with control, using your hands as little as possible. I remember my first attempt. It took tremendous effort just to rise from the chair, and sitting back down was more like falling than controlled movement. But Dr. Martinez reminded me that every journey begins with a single step, and this was mine. She had me perform just 5 repetitions, 3 times throughout my first day. The key was consistency, not intensity. The magic of the supported squat lies in its functional relevance. Every time you get out of bed, rise from a toilet seat, or stand up from your favorite armchair, you're performing this movement pattern. By strengthening it deliberately and progressively, you're directly improving your quality of life. The supported squat targets your quadriceps, glutes, and core muscles, while also improving your balance and coordination. Movement number 2 is the wall push. This addresses an often overlooked aspect of leg strength, the connection between your upper and lower body. Stand arm's length from a wall and place your palms flat against it at shoulder height. Lean forward slightly, then push yourself back to the starting position. This simple movement activates your entire kinetic chain, from your feet, through your core, to your shoulders. What surprised me most about the wall push was how it made me aware of my posture. Years of office work had created a forward head posture and rounded shoulders that were affecting my balance and gait. As I performed wall pushes day after day, I noticed my posture improving, and with it, my confidence while walking. Movement number 3 brought back memories of childhood games. The heel-to-toe walk, also known as tandem walking, involves placing one foot directly in front of the other, as if walking on a tightrope. Dr. Martinez had me start by walking along a wall for support, focusing on maintaining my balance for just 10 steps. This exercise specifically targets the small, stabilizing muscles in your legs and feet that are crucial for preventing falls. Balance is use it or lose it proposition, especially as we age. The sensory systems that help us maintain equilibrium, including vision, inner ear function, and proprioception, naturally decline over time. But research shows that balance training can significantly improve these systems and reduce fall risk by up to 40%. The heel-to-toe walk became my daily insurance policy against falls. Movement number 4 is the single leg stance, and it quickly became both my nemesis and my obsession. Standing on one foot sounds trivial until you try to do it for more than a few seconds. Dr. Martinez explained that the ability to balance on one leg is a powerful predictor of overall leg strength and fall risk. Adults over 65 should be able to balance on one leg for at least 10 seconds with their eyes open. I started at 3 seconds and felt defeated, but Dr. Martinez taught me to celebrate small victories. 4 seconds was better than 3. 5 seconds was progress. She had me practice near a counter so I could grab it if needed, removing the fear of falling and allowing me to focus on the movement itself. Within 2 weeks, I had reached 15 seconds on each leg. The 5th and final movement might seem too simple to matter, but it became the foundation of everything else. The calf raise involves rising up onto your toes and lowering back down with control. Your calves are crucial for circulation, helping pump blood back to your heart from your lower extremities. They're also essential for walking, providing the push-off power for each step. Dr. Martinez had me start with supported calf raises, holding onto a counter for balance while performing the movement slowly and deliberately. She emphasized that the lowering phase was just as important as the rising phase, as eccentric muscle contractions are particularly effective for building strength in older adults. The beauty of these 5 movements lay not just in their individual benefits, but in how they work together as a system. The supported squat built foundational strength. The wall push improved posture and full body coordination. The heel-to-toe walk enhanced balance and proprioception. The single leg stance challenged stability and unilateral strength. The calf raise improved circulation and walking mechanics. Dr. Martinez prescribed a simple routine. Perform each movement daily, starting with just a few repetitions and gradually increasing as strength and confidence improved. She stressed that consistency trumped intensity every time. It was better to do a little something every day than to push hard once a week and risk injury or burnout. The first week was humbling. Everything felt difficult, and I questioned whether I was too far gone for these simple movements to make a difference. But Dr. Martinez had warned me about this initial phase. Your nervous system needs time to remember how to coordinate these movements efficiently. she explained. Your muscles need time to respond to the new demands. Trust the process. Week 2 brought subtle changes. Standing from my chair required slightly less effort. Walking felt marginally more stable. The improvements were small but undeniable. More importantly, I was developing a routine and a sense of purpose around my physical health that had been missing for years. By week 3, family members started noticing differences. My daughter commented that I seemed to be walking taller. My husband mentioned that I wasn't holding the handrail as tightly when going up and down stairs. These external observations were incredibly motivating, confirming that the changes I felt were real and visible to others. Week 4 marked a turning point. I successfully performed my first unassisted squat, rising from my chair without using my hands at all. It might sound like a small victory to someone who has never struggled with basic movement, but for me, it represented a reclaiming of independence. I called Dr. Martinez immediately to share the news, and I could hear the smile in her voice as she congratulated me. The second month brought more dramatic improvements. My single-leg balance had improved to over 20 seconds on each leg. I could walk heel to toe for 20 steps without touching the wall. Most significantly, I had progressed from supported squats to full range of motion squats, actually lowering myself down until my thighs were parallel to the floor before rising back up. But the real test came during month 3 when my family planned another vacation, this time to Yellowstone National Park. I approached the trip with cautious optimism, remembering my struggles at the Grand Canyon. The difference was remarkable. I hiked the boardwalks around the geysers without difficulty. I climbed the stairs to observation platforms without gripping the railings. I walked for hours without the leg fatigue that had previously limited my activities. The transformation wasn't just physical. My confidence had returned, and with it, my willingness to engage in activities I had been avoiding. I joined a walking group at our local community center. I started gardening again, something I had given up because getting up and down from the ground had become too difficult. I even signed up for a beginner's yoga class, something that would have seemed impossible just months earlier. Dr. Martinez explained the science behind my transformation during one of our follow-up appointments. Resistance training, even simple bodyweight exercises like my Big 5, triggers a cascade of positive adaptations in older adults. Muscle protein synthesis increases, meaning your body becomes more efficient at building and maintaining muscle tissue. Bone density improves in response to the mechanical stress of movement. Balance and coordination improve as your nervous system becomes more efficient at controlling movement patterns. Perhaps most importantly, she explained, these exercises had awakened my dormant, fast-twitch muscle fibers. These are the muscle fibers responsible for quick, powerful movements like catching yourself if you trip or quickly stepping up onto a curb. Fast-twitch fibers are the first to decline with age and inactivity, but they're also the most responsive to proper training. The psychological benefits were equally profound. Exercise, particularly strength training, has been shown to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety while improving cognitive function in older adults. I found myself feeling more optimistic, more energetic, and more mentally sharp. Tasks that had felt overwhelming now seemed manageable. 6 months into my journey, I decided to challenge myself with a formal assessment. I returned to Dr. Martinez's office for the same tests I had struggled with during our first meeting. The results were astounding. My chair stand test, which had required assistance initially, now took less effort than standing up from a low couch. My walking speed had improved by over 30%. Most impressively, I could balance on one leg for over 40 seconds with my eyes closed. But numbers only tell part of the story. The real measure of my progress was in the quality of my daily life. I no longer approached stairs with trepidation. Getting out of bed in the morning didn't require a careful strategy to avoid strain. Walking through parking lots didn't leave me winded and searching for places to rest. My success story began attracting attention from friends and neighbors who were dealing with similar challenges. I started sharing my experience and teaching the Big 5 movements to anyone who was interested. What amazed me was how universal the struggles were and how effective the simple solutions could be when applied consistently. Martha, my neighbor, had been using a walker for 2 years following a minor fall that had shaken her confidence. After 3 months of practicing the Big 5 movements, she was walking unassisted again. Tom, from my walking group, had been struggling with chronic back pain that his doctor attributed to weak leg muscles. The supported squats and wall pushes helped strengthen his posterior chain and significantly reduced his discomfort. These success stories weren't anomalies. Research consistently shows that even small amounts of resistance training can produce significant improvements in older adults. Studies have documented strength gains of 20 to 30% in adults over 70 who engage in regular strength training. More importantly, these gains translate directly into improved functional capacity and reduced risk of falls and fractures. Dr. Martinez often reminded me that the body adapts to whatever demands you place on it. If you spend most of your time sitting, your body becomes efficient at sitting and inefficient at everything else. But if you regularly challenge your body with purposeful movement, it responds by becoming stronger, more stable, and more resilient. One of the most valuable lessons from my journey was learning to listen to my body without being ruled by temporary discomfort. There's a difference between the muscle fatigue that signals adaptation and the sharp pain that signals injury. Dr. Martinez taught me to embrace the former while respecting the latter. This wisdom allowed me to push my boundaries safely while building strength progressively. The Big Five movements also taught me about the interconnected nature of physical fitness. Improving my leg strength enhanced my posture. Better posture improved my breathing. Enhanced breathing increased my energy levels. Higher energy levels motivated me to be more active overall. This positive feedback loop created momentum that extended far beyond the specific exercises I was performing. Nutrition played a supporting role in my transformation. Dr. Martinez referred me to a dietitian who specialized in nutrition for active older adults. I learned about the importance of adequate protein intake for muscle synthesis and the role of vitamin D in muscle function. Simple dietary adjustments, combined with my exercise routine, accelerated my progress and improved my overall health. Sleep quality improved dramatically as my activity level increased. The physical fatigue from regular exercise helped me fall asleep more easily and sleep more deeply. Better sleep enhanced my recovery and gave me more energy for my daily activities and exercise routine. This created another positive feedback loop that supported my overall transformation. As I approach my second year of practicing the Big Five movements, I continue to see improvements. My goals have evolved from simply maintaining independence to actively pursuing new challenges. I've started hiking more challenging trails, dancing again, and even considering a martial arts class designed for seniors. The simplicity of the Big Five movements remains their greatest strength. I can perform them anywhere, anytime, without equipment or special clothing. When traveling, I adapt them to hotel rooms or small spaces. During busy days, I can complete the entire routine in less than 10 minutes. This accessibility has been crucial for maintaining consistency over the long term. Looking back on my journey, I realized that the most important step was the first one. Starting wasn't easy, and the initial results weren't dramatic. But each small improvement built upon the previous one, creating momentum that eventually became unstoppable. The compound effect of consistent daily action proved more powerful than any single intense workout or dramatic intervention. My legs aren't just saved, they're stronger now than they were 10 years ago. More importantly, I've learned that aging doesn't have to mean accepting decline. With the right approach, the right movements, and the right mindset, we can write a different story for our later years. We can remain strong, active, and independent well into our 80s and beyond. If you're facing similar challenges with leg strength, mobility, or confidence in your physical abilities, I encourage you to start somewhere. Start small, start simple, but start today. The Big Five movements that saved my legs aren't magic, but they might just feel magical when you experience their transformative power in your own life. Your future self will thank you for taking that first brave step toward reclaiming your strength and independence. Remember, it's never too late to begin, but it's always too late to wait.